microphone. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Borough Green Tree Council meeting for February 6, 2023. We will do Pledge of Allegiance, but we will precede that with a moment of silence for the young officer from the McKeesport Police Department that was killed today. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Like a roll call, I just let you know Mr. Lindsay is going to be a little bit late.
Ms. Barron?
Here.
Mr. Lindsay? Mr. Panza?
Here.
Mr. Ray? Mr. Romanovich?
Present.
Mr. Tarosi?
Present.
Mr. Tentori?
Present.
Mayor Shank?
Present.
Okay, we'll move to the hearing of citizens. Any citizen that would like to address council, please step up to the microphone and provide your name and address.
Christine Short, 251 Park Edge. I brought this up a couple years ago regarding the deer population, and it has gotten worse. I looked at what Mount Lebanon did. I don't know if we can do that because I only recall maybe one deer getting smacked out on Green Tree Road, but we do have the Parkway as well. The reason why I'm bringing it up is lately I've been cleaning up more and more in my yard, and I'm noticing my yard's getting destroyed. Not only I'm cleaning it up, my neighbors are complaining about it as well. If I don't keep up with it, I can fill 2 full bags of Giant Eagle bags. I can use them as weight.
What are you
Mr.
filling them
Panza,
with? Excuse me, what are you filling them with?
deer crap.
Okay, didn't
Wait.
understand what you meant.
Yep. Mr. Panza, you mentioned about coyote pee. It doesn't work.
Really?
Does not work.
I'm shocked.
Right now, I have more Irish Spring in my yard and fabric sheets. Nothing is working. So I don't know what we can do. But we got to do something because, I mean, I see my other neighbors' yards. They have a set of family. I know I have a set of family because it's everywhere. So when they start going on my patio, which they've started, I'm done. So I don't know what we can do. Like I said, I looked at what Mount Lebanon did, but I don't know if that's something that we can even look into.
So I will say you're not alone. I did receive a complaint within the last probably 5 days from a resident and reached out to some of the neighboring communities, and Mount Lebanon is the only one right now that seems to be doing a real proactive. They're doing sharpshooters and with actual rifles, and they're also utilizing, I believe, archery hunting.
Yes.
So that's, and then I have kind of some feelers out for some, to try to obtain some other information so that we could, at least I can convey that information to Public Safety, probably is the committee that I would send that to first, to see if there are some options out there. Other than Mount Lebanon, the couple communities that I heard from, they don't have any active programs in place right now. But I do know there's another community in the South Hills, and I know they used a company that just at select times of the year would go out in just certain areas. It's just very difficult, I think, with the proximity of homes here. It's probably a worry to a lot of people because they don't understand maybe how expert these hunters actually are. But I will continue to look into it and convey this information to council so that they are at least aware of options and what the other communities are doing, because as you know, I'm sure it gets to be a pretty sensitive subject. And I think the more research that you do and try to provide a well thought out plan will help, hopefully, to help everybody understand the dangers of having them there, without trying to control it. So we'll definitely keep looking into it.
Okay, thank you. Go.
Just real quick, Mount Lebanon, my understanding is the reason they hunt the deer because of the safety concern for traffic. So supposedly, they kept statistics for a couple years pre-hunt, and then they're supposed to keep statistics post-hunting. So I wonder if that would be public knowledge, or whether we could get the pre and the post to see, I mean, there's other problems with deer, but to see if it's less traffic incidents involving deer in Mount Lebanon or not due to the hunting. Anyhow, that's just
I mean,
a thought.
it's out on the internet. I mean, I Googled it and just did some research before I came up here and spoke about it. So they did have statistics done. I think they ran them from 2015 to, they're still running them.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
I'll take a look at that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Great.
also, we did with the Allegheny County League of Municipalities, which I'm a part of, we did a whole countywide program on the population. The two other means, the contraception was, it's costly, and because the deer aren't staying in their boundaries, sometimes it's not as effective. But, you know, that's another way to do it. But also, they have a program where we could schedule where they teach what plants to plant in the yard, and apparently it's supposed to work, where, you know, we can contact the League of Municipalities
made note
and
of that.
schedule it for like here. I mean, that's a very simple thing that we could do that might help.
that was another thing on their website as well, but what happens in the dead of winter, I don't know if you can have plants. I mean, I plant marigolds in the summer, they seem to stay out of my front yard, but,
Yeah.
you know, it's just the rest.
No, I think they're talking about like taking all your current shrubbery out and planting shrubbery that they find distasteful, but, I mean, that's a lot of expense also.
I don't even have anything except hedges, and then the guy's pine trees behind me, so.
Well, that's why they're probably staying under the pine tree at night, huh?
No, they're either a park edge park or on the side of my yard. My blink goes off every 5 minutes that they move. So,
No, I know.
my other question is, I brought this up in the spring regarding our fields over there and the tournaments. And I know, Ms. Barron, you were going to look into it. Has the borough decided if we were going to charge for our fields, for these people to come and use our equipment, our fields, our bathrooms?
That's in my update tonight. We're working on it.
Sorry, I got one more thing. In lieu of this train accident, catastrophe down in Ohio, since I think this was a couple months ago, we dismissed Mr. Eborn as being the, I guess, catastrophic emergency person. Have we decided on what we were going to do in case we have an emergency?
So ironic that I am going to address that tonight.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. Because if you remember, when they couldn't find a consensus, the president put it in my committee. So I was going to update you where we're at and how we are back to probably where we started from.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I will say, Christine, that I have had multiple conversations with both state and county officials, and they are here for us. We are never without coverage of, they will come in the minute we need them and manage things for us. So at least we're not completely without coverage.
Okay, I just think of Rook Station.
Yeah. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris. Anybody else? Excuse me. Okay, then. We'll move on to new business, and first up is Finance and General Policy, Mr. Tarosi.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I would like to make a motion to ratify the actions of the Borough Manager in paying the January 2023 invoices from the General Fund totaling $65,001.98. Fire Department apparatus totaling $53,630.71. Payroll account totaling $203,369.40. And the Educational Service Agency totaling $3,466.05.
So moved.
You mean,
Second.
it's a second? Okay, just want to make sure. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. Motion carries.
Okay, next I would like to make a motion to approve the payment of the February 2023 invoices from the general fund totaling $185,944.98. The stormwater sewer totaling $1,438.50. The sanitary sewer maintenance fund totaling $414,542.20. The capital projects totaling $639,918.79. And the bond fund totaling $23,000.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries.
Next, I would like to make a motion to approve ordinance number 1,877, setting the wages and benefits for the full-time borough employees.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, Kim would like a roll call, please.
Mr. Troisi,
Yes.
Ms. Barron,
Yes.
Mr. Lindsay,
Yes.
Mr. Panza,
Yes.
Mr. Romanovich,
Yes.
Mr. Tentori.
Yes. That motion passes.
We have to go back up. We missed the approval of the minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Well, we'll finish this.
Okay, that's totally fine.
Go ahead.
Next, I would move that we pass ordinance number 1,878, setting hourly wages for the part-time and seasonal part-time borough employees.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Kim, I'd like a roll call for this, too.
Mr. Troisi,
Yes.
Ms. Barron,
Yes.
Mr. Lindsay,
Yes.
Mr. Panza,
Yes.
Mr. Romanovich,
Yes.
Mr. Tentori.
Yes. That motion passes.
Next, I would turn the floor over to Ms. Barron for library board reappointments.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we move to reappoint Victoria Swindle and Josh Stutzman and appoint Jolene Babijanoff to the Green Tree Library Board for 2 terms to expire January 31st, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Kim, please, roll call.
Ms. Barron,
Yes.
Mr. Lindsay,
Yes.
Mr. Panza,
Yes.
Mr. Romanovich,
Yes.
Mr. Troisi,
Yes.
Mr. Tentori.
Yes. That motion passes. Before we move on to infrastructure, I neglected to make a motion to approve the minutes. So at this point...
I missed that part.
No, I was waiting for you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the January 9th meeting?
I'll move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. Thank you very much. I will move on to infrastructure, Mr. Romanovich.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we award a contract to Swede Construction in the amount of $23,900 for the reconstruction of 88 curb ramps on Green Tree Road, in accordance with the Borough Engineers correspondence dated January 13, 2023.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I just had a question. Is it the same amount?
Yes.
Thought so.
And this was a bid item, just for the records. We did put it out to bid, and we got more
We
than one.
rebid it.
We rebid it. We got more than one bid, and as required to get the ADA curb grant. So this was a bid item, and they're still recommended. Whoever submitted the first bid, rebid, and they're being awarded.
We have a motion to,
Got that?
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. Anything else? We'll move on to Public Safety with Mr. Lindsay.
Thank you, sir. Just yours or mine? These are all just, I want to make sure that people at home can hear. Under Public Safety this month, we have an ordinance concerning the contract with the Teamsters 205 Police Department that we worked on for quite a few months to get resolved, which resulted in an agreement for a 6-year contract. And so at this time, I move that we pass ordinance 1880, approving and adopting the 2023 to 2028 collective bargaining agreement with the Teamsters 205, representing the Green Tree Police Department, in accordance with the Borough Manager's correspondence dated February 3rd, 2023.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, Kim, roll call, please.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes.
Mr. Panza?
Yes.
Mr. Romanovich?
Yes.
Mr. Tarosi?
Yes.
Ms. Barron?
Yes.
Mr. Tintori?
Yes. That ordinance passes. Next up, Recreation Programming, Community Welfare, Mr. Panza.
Thank you. I do have to make 3 appointments to the Recreation Board. All 3 were asked if they would like to continue, and all 3 indicated yes. So at this time, I would like to make a motion that we reappoint Luann Jones, Jill Folkmeyer, and Christine Short for a 3-year term to expire March the 1st, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? That motion carries. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll move on. Mr. Shank for the mayor's report.
Okay, thank you. A couple things. The Green Tree Volunteer Fire Company, Mr. Lindsay will probably also mention it, is on February 18th. I'll be in attendance and install the new officers. The Special Olympics, I think we have 4 or 5 officers taking that polar plunge on February 25th. So anybody that wants to donate, you can go on the website and donate to the officers doing the polar plunge. I had mayor's office hours on January 21st. I think 5 people came. So it was, the chief was also present. So we spoke with 5 different people, and nothing of great urgency, but we did deal with what was brought up. Also, the Planning Commission, they gave us their annual report for 2022. They've been doing that for a number of years, giving us the Planning Commission's annual report. I think that's good. People here know how much work they do. Mr. Lindsay was on the Planning Commission. Mr. Tarasi was on the Planning Commission, and I was on the Planning Commission. So we thank them for all their service. In regard to, I hear a new website's going to be launched hopefully this week. David Ray will be very happy. He was out of town today. He's not in attendance. But I'd like to thank everyone involved, and especially Wendy in the administrative office. I know she did a lot of legwork to get this new website up and running. I think we have glass recycling now. I think maybe the borough manager will address that, hopefully, because I'm a little, maybe I shouldn't be confused, but just to clarify what the glass recycling is now. A couple other things. MRTSA, I noticed, I just signed checks today. We pay $80,000 to MRTSA. That's our fee from our community, but that's still a good buy for $80,000. You couldn't even start to get an ambulance. So $80,000, and then a lot of people do sign up, have a family membership. I should send mine in this week. And then lastly, on a serious note, the police chief McIntyre, I did go to the funeral home about 2 weeks ago, but now we have another police officer, and a McKeesport police officer was shot and killed just today. So it is a very dangerous job. I'd just like to bring 3 things from the police report. The chief always gives a police report to council and to myself, but just to show how active our police department are and how it's dangerous in every community. You know, there's no safe community nowadays. So just 3 examples. On January 7th at 5:39 a.m., Officers Geiger and Monsalewski received information a vehicle owned by a person with active warrants from the Pittsburgh Police Department had just passed through a license plate reader in Pittsburgh and was headed for Green Tree. They found the vehicle in the driveway of a home where the mother of the offender resides. They spoke with the woman, who denied her son was in the residence, but gave consent to search the home. He was found hiding in a back bedroom and was taken into custody without incident, then turned over to the Pittsburgh Police Department. So that's one example how with nowadays you have the license plate readers, and I mean, they're helpful. You can find the bad guys a lot quicker, but it's also a lot more dangerous going into our homes, searching into closets to find somebody that's wanted on a warrant. That's not easy to do. Second example, there's 3 here. On January 10th at 3:11 a.m., I guess it's dark then, Officer Diamond was patrolling Mansfield Avenue when he spotted a person in the lot of the warehouse on Mansfield. His investigation disclosed the man had just cut a catalytic converter off of one of the trucks. The offender was taken into custody and committed to the Allegheny County Jail. So we're confronting people at night that's stealing catalytic converters. And just a note to that, additionally, catalytic converter thefts took place on January 19th on Mansfield and on the 20th of January on Nobletown Road. The offenders in those thefts have been tentatively linked to arrests made by other jurisdictions. So be careful with catalytic converters. Obviously, we've had 3 just in January in our municipality. And then lastly, the more serious one that I'll read, on January 29th at 5:45 p.m., Officers Feller and Lieutenant Rannigan responded to what was originally reported as a domestic disturbance in a vehicle on Green Tree Road at Carnahan. As Police Officer Feller arrived in the area, he received additional information. The incident was a carjacking. Officer Feller observed a woman and 2 men in the parking lot of 1081 Green Tree Road. As he exited his vehicle, he observed one of the men had a pistol in his hand. Officer Feller ordered the man to drop the weapon. The man complied, but the other man approached Officer Feller, telling him to shoot me. Officer Feller determined the compliant male with the firearm was less of a threat than the male confronting him, and made the decision to holster the weapon and deploy his taser. The taser was not effective. It was later determined one of the probes lodged into the offender's belt, and the man fled on foot. The offender surrendered to Lieutenant Rannigan and Scott Township police officers a short time later. So here we have someone with weapons. Here we have someone approaching a police officer saying, shoot me. Here we have taser involvement. So that's like I said, it can happen anywhere. And lastly, that police officer McKeesport was killed in a domestic disturbance. And during December, officers in our community responded to 3 domestic disputes. They did not result in an arrest, but they were domestic disputes, and you never know how they go. So I'd just like to publicly thank the police department every day, and even in Green Tree here, they're confronting difficult and dangerous situations. Thank you. End of my report.
Thank you, Mr. Shank. Let's move on to the reports of the committees. First up, Finance and General Policy, Mr. Troisi.
I have no new report this time.
Okay, thank you very much. Infrastructure, Mr. Romanovich.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to report that the Rook stairs at this point in time are just waiting on Verizon to remove and or relocate their poles. Once done, those steps will be raised. The 2022 road program has been completed and paid. The upcoming 2023 road program will be coming to the committee within the next month or 2 for discussion. And on that note, our committee will be meeting in the upcoming weeks to discuss several matters that are being brought to our attention. That is my report. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Romano.
Just briefly mention, I was signing checks again. I mentioned that MRSA check, but I also signed a check for over $600,000 to a paving contractor. So we are keeping our streets in good repair, and we do some each year. But that was the biggest check I signed tonight. But, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Romanovich. Does anyone want to have any planning or zoning? Or we just move on to Ms. Barron? Mrs. Barron? Ms. Barron.
I know my Miss Barron, so thank you. Excuse me. Yes, so the Public Facilities and Parks, excuse me. The Public Facilities and Parks Committee met in January with the Green Tree Athletic Association to discuss the spring field usage and updates to the website. So this meeting was the first field coalition meeting that we had, which will be a regular meeting that will occur at least twice a year between this committee, the borough manager, and the members of the GAA board. We'll meet once in the winter, and then we'll meet again in the fall. At least. In that meeting, we discussed Green Tree Borough plans through August and the GAA plans for the spring season, field needs and facility needs for the fields, and the issue of tournaments. The GAA is not at this point planning on scheduling any tournaments, but in February, this committee will meet to review procedures on what types of field usage would be permitted without charge and what would be charged. The borough manager and I have gathered information about what neighboring communities do for field rentals. And then the committee will come together with some things that we would like to see happen in our community based on what is already happening. Really what is already happening, and then the setting of those fees would then pass to the Finance and General Policy Committee for their full input and recommendations for price and structures. The full intent of this at the end would be so that this procedure with setting up a Fields Coalition meeting that meets regularly would be so that every year we get a chance to assess the community's needs, specifically GAA, which provides so many great opportunities for our youth in our community, the borough's needs and facilities and what we're hearing for our community, and then to set so that we can review that every year and then set any pricing like we do with all of our other facilities for the rest of the year as well. So look for more. We'll continue to keep you updated with that. With the new website, when that does make its debut this week, you will be able to see what fields are in use at this time every day. So that does not mean that you're going to be able to see, like, Shannon Barron is hosting kids at this program at this field. It'll just tell you whether fields are available, whether they're in use, and when they're not. That is the first, fields are the first things that will be available to see through the website. As the year progresses, we learn how that works and what it takes to upkeep that and how we might have to change or adapt to that process. We can look onto adding additional facilities and whether they're available or not at any given time. In addition to other things that are happening with our public facilities and parks, the Wilson Park wall continues at a steady pace, though it is wet, so that space continues to be a little bit slower. But our gymnasium facility painting is going great. The hall and the stage area is already complete, and it's giving a fresh look to a nice part of our building. So that is it.
Thank you very much. Move on to public safety. Mr. Lindsay?
Thank you, sir. I don't have a lot to report. We're still waiting on a new pumper. We're still working on the new key fob system. We have a public safety meeting scheduled for next Monday to be followed by our first peer review meeting with the committee. back to back. That's all I have to report.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Panza, Recreation, Programming, Community Welfare.
Thank you. Approximately 3 months ago, we were discussing, we are mandated by the state to update our emergency management plan. 3 months ago, we were approached by a person, James Eborn, that said he would be able to redo the plan, and he offered a cost, possibly per hour, basically, to redo the plan.
That was a flat fee.
Was it?
It was a flat fee for the first phase.
For the first phase?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, it was asked that my committee take a look at this proposal, and, you know, we looked at the emergency management plan, and at first we thought, well, we're not rewriting everything, we're just updating it. Because, you know, if a train derails in Rook, you're still going to run away the same way. You know, it's not like anything's different. I'm sorry, but however, when I met with my committee felt strongly that they wanted someone with Mr. Eborn's experience to do this and not us as a committee. So, I mean, it's my own committee, I have to go with the majority of the recommendation that we wind up going with Mr. Eborn and have him take care of this, because honestly, there's probably no one in the borough more qualified than him. Now, some of the concerns was what the actual cost would be, but I have to tell you, it's actually nothing more than what the engineer or solicitor, you know, we know what they're charging us per hour, but we would never ask, our solicitor, okay, this lawsuit, in the end, what's the total price for this? She couldn't tell us, you know, because they really do not know what the amount of work is. So so my committee is now, after looking at it thoroughly for 3 months, recommending that we go back to the original proposal by Mr. Eborn, and we allow him to begin what he needs to do to put us in compliance with the state.
You go first, Jim.
And that's what the outcome of our committee was over the last 3 months.
Anything else?
No, that's...
Okay, well, we'll just have to,
I just had a question
Okay.
for Mr. Panza. Now, your committee reviewed what they thought needed to be done. Did they meet with Mr. Eborn?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
I would suggest then that maybe you get an in-person meeting with him and determine exactly what your impression of exactly what he proposes to do in the first phase.
I did speak with him briefly, and he would be willing to have a meeting. And so I think that's our next step, is we set up a meeting with my committee and we discuss what he thinks and try to get, seeing what all needs done, try to get some kind of, you know, approximate total cost. And also, ironically, you know, we do need a new emergency manager, because Dave Wants said he no
Right.
longer wants to fulfill that position.
So I have a couple of follow-up questions for your committee.
Yes.
If we go back to that meeting, I will say that I don't think, at least for myself, there was never any question that Mr. Eborn is qualified to do this work. That was never a question. One of the things that I would like to see, as this is brought back, is what is the timeline for completion and what steps would be involved in phase 2 and phase 3. I'm not talking about specifics. I understand that that will not be answered until the work is really done. But anytime you're putting forth a plan, we should be able to have a general outline so that we can begin to see what we should expect and when. That piece, I think, really does need to be, I would like to see that fluffed out a little bit more.
Well, yeah, and we'll get more specific. I mean, initially, he said that he, until he delves into it, he's not sure if he's updating it or redoing it. And that's where I guess the involvement would be different. However, I think us scheduling a meeting with Mr. Eborn would be the next best step. And then we'll have this, under control.
Okay, that sounds good, thank you. You got something?
And that's all I have at this time.
Ed, you got something?
Yes, please. My recollection is the Public Safety Committee met with Mr. Eborn, and then he gave a proposal, but that proposal was a flat fee, and it was to do an evaluation, just like an engineer on a wall does an evaluation, how much is it going to cost? You might have to do A, B, and C, so he gives a plan, engineer. So I think that's what Mr. Eborn did, so I think it's good, at least on this initial phase, to have a flat fee for him to evaluate what needs to be done. So maybe some people on council want him to be a little more specific on, on his plan, what needs to be done. But in any event, I think that's the way to go, to have him do an evaluation and look at it. As Mr. Panza said, get into it and then tell us what needs to be done to the extent that he's not already done so. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Payne, as I said, you follow up.
We'll rehash that one
Right.
more time and get more
Make sure it's clear,
specific
get the proposal together.
And,
That's fine.
and then also, I mean, we will be trying to pursue possibly having him apply for the emergency management position also, so, okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, as far as the president's report, a number of things, try to mention some things that weren't already brought up, but the website certainly is going to be important for us. Everybody's been evolving into it, be able to get as much information as we can, so we are looking forward to that coming up online very soon. We have been really lucky with the weather this year. The winter's been really mild. We've been really lucky. But I know that Public Works is just ready. Anytime we have an issue, that they'll be right there when we need them. So we're probably going to get a storm or two, but really glad that you guys didn't have to go out and risk your lives too many times this year. But I'm sure that'll all work itself out. To the Fireman's Banquet, yes, many of us will be attending, and we look forward to that every year. It's a good event, so we can hook up, talk to the firemen. Usually there's a number of people, some of the police are attending, so it's a good opportunity for us to get together. As far as the glass recycling is concerned, last July I met with some waste management. I met with one of the waste management managers, and at that time he said, we are going to start collecting glass again. He didn't tell me when, but he said, we've just got the equipment and we're finally deciding that we will be doing that. A few months earlier, even a year earlier, he was telling me, we're never going to recycle glass. That stuff, just throw it away. So obviously something happened along the way that they've got the equipment. So what's going to happen is they will be accepting any glass every week or whenever you're, twice a month, whenever our collection is, wait a minute, let me back up. Every other week, they'll be accepting glass. You can still throw it away if you'd like, but every other week they will accept it. So it'll be plastic, glass, paper, that'll be accepted. The bins we have up there right now, we will be ending that, I believe, towards the end of the month, Judy?
Yes.
Towards the end of the month, we will no longer have that available. And it cost us a few dollars to do that. And people all over the community, all over the area have been coming in. It's like it's on the website, come to Green Tree and put your glass in there. So we'll just have to move on because it was costing us some money. So that's good news for everyone that we do. We will have the ability to just recycle the glass. So it's pretty simple. Whenever it's your time to recycle, you can throw your glass in there. You can still throw it away if you like, and you can still recycle at the borough. Of course, as we always say, aluminum cans are being collected for the Rotary, so we encourage everyone to do that also. And then the newsletter is coming out in a few weeks, so there'll be a lot of information on the activities, events, so make sure you take a look at that too. So that's all I have. Ms. Miller, for the manager. I probably stole everything you were going to say.
I have one or two things.
Sorry.
But yeah, no, we do encourage everybody. We will leave the aluminum can, which is basically beverage cans. So food cans typically tend to be tin. So if you just think about anything you drink out of a can, that's aluminum. And the Rotary would absolutely love to have those cans in the bin so that they can recycle them for some cash. And they actually just reached out to me last week to talk to us about if there's any special programs that they can use those funds for. So it really does. It's money that comes back to the community. So we would really appreciate the effort to take it over to the Public Works Garage. Like Art said, the glass recycling, it's basically mostly food jars and bottles of things you drink out of. So no mirrors, no light bulbs, or things like that. I think most people are pretty much on board with the glass recycling, what the do's and don'ts are. So the Green Tree Road side, I know everybody's very frustrated to see contractors in town ripping up the sidewalks, ripping up the front yards of some of the residents that live along Green Tree Road. And, unfortunately, this project is in a state right-of-way. It was permitted by PennDOT specifically. The good news is that the permit does require full restoration of all disturbed areas. So I know I've had a couple of the residents reach out to me, a couple of the businesses, and I've just kind of let them know that, they are rest assured that the permit issued by PennDOT does require the full restoration. And then additionally, our code enforcement officer has documented, he took pictures of everything, put them all on a map, put them all on a summarized list, and we've distributed that to both the company that hired the contractor as well as the contractor that did the work. So, we just appreciate your patience. If you see any areas, maybe that by chance we missed that the contractor did not, walked away from, that did not leave it as a safe area, certainly we welcome anybody just to call into the office, and we'll make sure that we get our own crews out there just to try to cone it off or put some fencing up or whatever, just to keep the pedestrians safe out there. Just speaking of glass recycling, I did get an email this week from one of our residents who was a little bit concerned about the glass recycling and fearful that the glass would break and be left on the sidewalk. And my response was that I believe Green Tree residents to be quite considerate of their neighbors, and I really do believe everybody would clean up when you go back to retrieve your bin, just to make sure that any recycling that might have spilled over into the sidewalk, or just even in the roadways, if you don't live on a road with a sidewalk and you're out walking your dog or just yourself, nobody wants to step in glass or trip over cans or anything else. So just a reminder that, obviously glass might be a little more worrisome to some people, but communities in the South Hills of Pittsburgh have been recycling glass for 20 plus years, and I haven't really had any experiences with it being a problem, so I wouldn't expect it to be a problem here in Green Tree. But we do just ask residents to be mindful of, there's a lot of walkers in town, a lot of little animals out there, so we'd like to keep everybody safe. And then Farmers Market, believe it or not, it's only 3 months away. And in speaking with Jen, our coordinator, she indicated that they're definitely in need of volunteers this year. So if you're looking for a fun way to spend your, probably not just Thursday evenings, I'm sure there's a lot of other time that goes into it, but I know she would love to have some extra volunteers this year. So, and then I will just kind of hopping back to recycling, looking at my notes, we do every once in a while also have some residents that are big recyclers. The 1 can provided by the borough sometimes is not enough. You can purchase a can from any of the hardwares, the Ace Hardware store here in Green Tree. Purchase a can, just try to find a recycling sticker to put on it so that the garbage men do not confuse it for trash. So that then would be the end of my report.
Thank you very much.
Just a question. I'd still like to try to get a copy of that permit that was issued by PennDOT to the contractor to see the specific language.
Yes.
About them repairing and putting everything back to normal.
Yes, and we did request that. Unfortunately, we had to go through the right-to-know process to get it. So that's in progress.
Okay, great.
Well, it is wintertime, and they're not going to do any sidewalk replacement until
Till-
spring, so I'm sure it'll be good to be proactive, but just people have to be patient. It's wintertime. Okay,
Okay, at this time, I would like to make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
so moved. Thank you very much. We are adjourned.